Stay at home, stay safe and healthy. So next chapter, heat and energy. The upthrust and what was there? Atmospheric pressure. These two chapters, after reopening the school, I'll teach you. Okay. So heat and energy. So what is heat? Heat is a form of energy. Alright. Which form of energy? Which gives us the sensation of hotness or coldness of a body. That is known as heat. Now the question arises, how you can measure the heat of a body. Now if you want to know that, then we have to consider the molecular theory of matter, that you know any body, any substance is made up of molecules. Alright. Now if you consider the molecules of a substance, then molecules always are in constant motion. Solid molecules, they are having vibrational motion. Liquid molecules, they can move from one place to another, but they will remain confined within the container, whereas gas molecules, they are having the random motion. Alright. So the molecules, due to their motion, every molecule possesses some amount of kinetic energy. Okay. Next is, if you consider molecules of a substance, then molecules of a substance attract each other with a force. Alright. Now you see, if the two molecules, if they are attracting each other, then they should come near to each other. Alright. And they should fall on each other. But that is not happening. Is that happening? No. What does it mean? When the molecules are maintaining its own position, then they have to do certain amount of work to maintain their position against that attractive force. You have understood what I said? Means if there are two molecules, now if they are attracting each other, they will come closer, but that is not happening. Why it is, as it is not happening, so what the molecules are doing, molecules have to do certain amount of work to maintain their position against the intermolecular attraction. Alright, so that energy is, that work done is stored as potential energy within a molecule. So every molecule of a substance possesses two kinds of energy: kinetic energy due to their motion, potential energy to maintain the position against the intermolecular attraction. Clear? So this kinetic and potential energy, when you are adding together, that gives you the total internal energy of the molecule of a substance. Okay. Now, if you take a body, a certain amount of substance, then several molecules are present within the body. So, if you find out the sum of all the internal energies of the molecules of the substance, that gives you the measure of the heat content of that particular body. Okay, so you can write heat is the total internal energy of all molecules present in the body. And what is the total internal energy? That is the sum of kinetic and potential energy of all the molecules. Then next important point regarding heat is, what is its unit? SI unit of heat is joule, because heat is the energy and SI unit of energy is joule. So SI unit of heat is also joule. But we use another unit of heat, that is calorie, that is considered as the practical unit of heat. Most of the cases we prefer to use this unit, calorie. And what is the definition of calorie? Calorie is the amount of heat needed to increase the temperature of 1 gram of mass from 14.5 degrees Celsius to 15.5 degrees Celsius. Means to increase the temperature by 1 degree Celsius is known as 1 calorie. Now in this case, you see, instead of writing the temperature of 1 gram of water by 1 degree, we always write from 14.5 to 15.5 degrees Celsius. Why? There is a reason. Alright. that I will discuss once again. If you consider certain amount of water, then suppose the example I am giving, suppose you have taken 1 gram of water, you are increasing the temperature of water from 1 degree to 2 degree. Somebody else increasing the temperature from 17 to 18 degree. Somebody else increasing the temperature from 24 degree to 25 degree. So you see, in all the cases, everyone increasing the temperature of 1 gram of water by 1 degree Celsius. So they should need the same amount of it, but due to anomalous expansion of water, it has been found that the amount of it needed, it varies when the temperature range changes. Means where you are taking which temperature, what is the initial temperature, what is the final temperature, depending on that the amount of it needed changes. That's why while defining 1 calorie, the temperature range is specified within this, that is 40.5 to 15.5 degrees Celsius. So everybody should remember the temperature range in case of definition of calorie. Then what is the relation between calorie and joule? 1 calorie is equal to 4.186 joule, and we approximate it and we may use it as 4.2 joule. So you see, as calorie is bigger unit than joule, so we generally in practical cases, most of the cases we prefer to use the unit of heat energy as calorie. Next concept is, what is temperature? Temperature is what? The thermal state of a body which determines the direction of flow of heat. Alright, or we say that thermal state which gives us the which is the measure of hotness or coldness of a body. Alright, now if you consider the direction of flow of heat, then we know that heat always flows from high temperature to low temperature by itself. But if you want that heat will flow from low temperature to high temperature, then you need the presence of a third agency or third system. Is that clear? That is in case of refrigerator. What happens, you know, that heat flows from low temperature to high temperature. But in that case, heat is not flowing by itself. You need another device, that is the compressor. Compressor is forcing the heat to flow from low temperature to high temperature. But if the heat flows by itself, then how the heat will flow? Heat will always flows from high temperature to low temperature. Then what is the SI unit of heat energy? SI unit of heat is Kelvin, and as it is as the name of the scientist, that's why you will use big K or when you are writing only one letter, otherwise small k, ELVIN. Then other units of temperatures are degree Celsius and degree Fahrenheit. And what is the relation between them? Already you studied in lower classes, so I am not going in details. That is C by 5 is equal to F minus 32 by 9. C is the temperature in degree Celsius, whereas F is the temperature in Fahrenheit, degree Fahrenheit. Another important point you must remember, that when you write degree Celsius or Fahrenheit, this degree Celsius, degree Fahrenheit means this degree sign you have to give. But when you write Kelvin, there should not be any degree. Means we say only Kelvin, we never say degree Kelvin. Then next is, what is the relation between Kelvin and Celsius? It is the most important one for solving the numericals. If you measure, generally when we measure the temperature in Kelvin, we denote it by capital T, big T. So, temperature in Kelvin is equal to temperature in degree Celsius plus 273. So, this is the way we write, that if the capital T is temperature in Kelvin, small t indicates temperature in degree Celsius plus 273. Then the next important topic is, in terms of molecular theory, how you can measure the temperature. So as I have discussed already, that every molecule present in a body, it possesses two kinds of energy, kinetic energy and potential energy. And when I discussed heat, I said that heat is the sum of all the internal energy of the molecules. Means it is the, you have to take the kinetic energy also, potential energy also while measuring heat. But for temperature, the interesting thing is that temperature is associated only with the kinetic energy, and it is measured by the average kinetic energy of the molecules of a body. Is that clear? May suppose within this room there are 50 molecules. So what, if you want to find out what is the temperature, what you have to do? You will add the kinetic energies of all 50 molecules and then divide it by 50. Then you will get the average kinetic energy of the molecules present in that room, and that will give you the measure of the temperature of the room. That's why regarding temperature, the most important point is that temperature, as it is associated with the kinetic energy of the molecule, therefore when the temperature increases, kinetic energy of the molecule increases. Or in reverse way I can say, if the kinetic energy of the molecules increases, then what happens to its temperature? Temperature of the body increases. So in the reverse manner, if the kinetic energy of the molecule decreases, then temperature of the body will decrease. So if you just go on decreasing the kinetic energy of the molecule, then one moment will come when the molecules will not move. Means the molecular motion ceases. Then what happened? The temperature of the body is known as absolute zero temperature. So what is absolute zero temperature? The temperature at which the molecular motion ceases is known as the absolute zero temperature. This is one important concept. Another important concept is how to measure the temperature of a substance. Temperature is measured by average kinetic energy of the molecules present in the substance. So if I ask you now that write down the differences between heat and temperature. I am not writing it. I am just saying point wise. You note it down in the copy. Okay. So what about the first point of difference between heat and temperature? Make two columns. Then the first point of difference for heat will be heat is a form of energy. Alright. Heat is a form of energy. For temperature, what will be the point? That is the first point for heat and temperature. For temperature, you will write, it is the thermal state of the body which determines the direction of flow of heat. That is the first point of difference. Then, second point is, heat is measured by total internal energy of all molecules present in the body. Heat is measured by total internal energy of all molecules present in the body. Then second point for temperature, temperature is measured by average kinetic energy of the molecules present in the body. Average kinetic energy of the molecules present in the body. Then third point of difference, you will write SI unit of heat is Joule and SI unit of temperature is Kelvin. Alright. Next topic is thermal expansion of solid. So from the name only you can make out, when you heat up a body, then what happens? The body expands. And if you consider a solid, solid also expands. If you consider liquid, if you give heat to liquid, heat up a liquid, liquid also expand. And if you give heat to gas, gas also expands. And if you consider, so expansion of a body, it may be in solid state, it may be in liquid state, or it may be in gaseous state. On heating is known as the thermal expansion. So if you consider the thermal expansion of three states of matter, then you know that if you provide same amount of heat to the substances in solid state, liquid state and gas state, then liquid expands more than solid, whereas gas expands maximum, gas expands more than liquid and more than solid. Means for the same amount of heat provided to the three states of matter, taking same amount of matter, you will observe that solid expands by least amount, liquid expansion is moderate, whereas expansion of gas is maximum. This one from our practical day-to-day life experience only we are getting that. Okay, I have not written on the board, but I have discussed that. So you must remember that solid expands by least amount, liquid expands more than solid, and gas expands maximum, provided you have taken same amount of three states of matter and you are providing same amount of heat to all of them. Okay, now I am coming to the expansion of solid. So when you are providing heat to a solid, then solid expands. Clear? Now this is known as the thermal expansion of solids. Now there are three kinds of thermal expansion of solids. What are they? Linear expansion, superficial expansion and cubical expansion. From the meaning of the English term I have used, one can make out what is the meaning. Alright. Now linear expansion, what does it mean? When you are providing heat to the body and length of the body is changing, then that is known as linear expansion. So in case of linear expansion, what happens? On heating, length increases. And what is the meaning of superficial? Superficial means what? The outermost area, isn't it? So superficial expansion means when you are giving heat to a body and area of the body is increasing, then that is called as superficial expansion. Another one, cubical expansion. Cubical means what? It is related with the volume. So when you are heating the body, the volume of the body is increasing. That is known as cubical expansion. Means on heating, the volume of the body increases. So these are the three kind of expansion. Now one by one, let us consider this. First, consider the linear expansion. Let us consider that initial length of the body taken, let it be L1, and the body is taken at initial temperature theta1. Now what you have done, you have given some heat to the body. So what will happen? Length will increase. So let us consider the final length of the body is L2 and the temperature, final temperature of the body, let it be theta2. So you see here, final length L2, initial length L1. So what is the change in length? Change in length will be L2 minus L1. Now it has been observed that if you take bigger length, the change in length will be bigger, greater. So one conclusion you can make that change in length L2 minus L1, it is directly proportional to the initial length. Alright, means what? Suppose you have taken a 5 meter length object. Okay, and you are increasing the temperature, so that's why suppose the length changes by 1 centimeter. Now instead of 5 meters, somebody has taken 10 meter length. Then what will happen? For the same amount of heat given, for the same amount of change in temperature, what will happen? The length will increase by 2 centimeter, not by 1 centimeter. So this is the meaning. More the initial length, more is the change in length. So one can say change in length is directly proportional to the initial length. Again, change in length is directly proportional to change in temperature. Means more you increase the temperature, more will be the increase in the length. So if you combine these two, what you can write? L2 minus L1 is directly proportional to L1 into theta2 minus theta1. So when you will replace the proportional sign by the equal sign, then you know a constant of proportionality you have to write on the right side. Okay, so what you can write, L2 minus L1 is equal to the constant of proportionality. I denoted it by alpha into L1 into theta2 minus theta1. This alpha is known as coefficient of linear expansion. Please do write it in the copy. No space is here. I have not written on the board. But you must write it in the copy. What is alpha? Alpha is coefficient of linear expansion. coefficient. Coefficient of linear expansion. So you see how you can write alpha. Alpha is equal to L2 minus L1 by L1 into theta 2 minus theta 1. Now look at it. This is change in length divided by initial length into change in temperature. So the unit of change in length and unit of length, they are equal. So what will happen? They are same. So they will cancel each other. So what is the unit of alpha? Per degree Celsius or per Kelvin. What is the unit of coefficient of linear expansion? Per degree Celsius. Degree Celsius to the power minus 1 or per Kelvin means K to the power minus 1. Now come to the superficial expansion. Exactly in the same manner you deal with the superficial and cubical expansion as you have done for linear expansion. So let us consider the initial area is A1 and initial temperature is theta 1, and while giving the heat on hitting the body, area changes to A2 and temperature changes to theta 2. So what is the change in area? Change in area will be A2 minus N1. In this case also A2 minus A1 means the change in area is directly proportional to the initial area. More the initial area taken, more will be the change in area. Then change in area is directly proportional to change in temperature. More is the increase in temperature, more will be the expansion in area. So if you combine these two, you can write A2 minus A1 is proportional to A1 into theta 2 minus theta 1. Now proportional sign replaced by equal sign. Constant of proportionality is introduced on the right side. What is the constant of proportionality? Beta. Here the constant of proportionality is alpha. Be careful about the proportional sign and alpha. They almost look the same, but be careful. That's what I am saying. Now in this case the constant of proportionality is beta, and beta easily you can guess what is the name. Beta is the coefficient of superficial expansion. So you see beta, one can write it as A2 minus A1 divided by A1 into theta 2 minus theta 1. Means coefficient of superficial expansion is equal to change in area divided by initial area into change in temperature. So in this case also, if you substitute the units, you see the unit of A2 minus A1 and A1 are same, getting cancelled. So what is the unit of beta? Either you can write per degree Celsius or per Kelvin, means degree Celsius to the power minus 1 or K to the power minus 1. Now come to the cubical expansion. Cubical expansion means volume is changing. So just like the superficial and linear expansion, we have assumed that initial volume V1, initial temperature theta 1, final volume V2, final temperature theta 2. So what is the change in volume? Change in volume is V2 minus V1. So change in volume, just like the previous two cases, one can write that it is directly proportional to the initial volume. Change in volume is directly proportional to the initial volume. Means more the initial volume taken, more will be the expansion. And change in volume also directly proportional to change in temperature. Means more you are increasing the temperature, more will be the expansion in volume. So when you are combining these two, you are getting V2 minus V1 is proportional to V1 into theta 2 minus theta 1. Again proportionality sign replaced by the equal sign. Constant of proportionality gamma, I have represented here. Gamma is introduced on the right side, and this gamma is known as coefficient of cubical expansion. Alpha is coefficient of linear expansion. Beta is coefficient of superficial expansion, and gamma is coefficient of cubical expansion. So you see coefficient of cubical expansion gamma 1 can write as V2 minus V1 divided by V1 into theta 2 minus theta 1. Now as the unit of V2 minus V1 and V1 are same, they will cancel each other. So theta 2 minus theta 1 is left. So what is the unit of gamma? Per degree Celsius or per Kelvin. Clear to everyone? Now there is a nice relation between alpha, beta and gamma. Alpha is equal to beta by 2 equal to gamma by 3. So that's all about the thermal expansion of solid. Next important topic is anomalous expansion of water. Now what I told you, that if you give heat to a substance, then what happens? It expands. Clear? But water never shows this property from 4 degrees Celsius to 0 degrees Celsius. Means what? If you increase the temperature of water from 0 degree to 4 degree, instead of expanding, the water contracts. Is that clear? So this is known as anomalous expansion of water. It means that if you decrease the temperature of water, if you cool down temperature of water, cool down water from 4 degrees Celsius to 0 degrees Celsius, then the water expands. Means on heating it is not expanding, on cooling it is expanding. Okay, so that's why it is known as anomalous expansion of water. Very favorite topic of the question setters, examiners, important topic. That's why concept wise also and board exam wise also. So please learn the definition and don't change anything. You just learn this way, that expansion of water when it is cooled from 4 degrees Celsius to 0 degree. You see, it is expanding, but when it is cooled from 4 degree to 0 degree Celsius is known as anomalous expansion of water. That's why if you plot the volume versus temperature graph of water, is that clear? If you plot the volume versus temperature of water, then you will observe that from 0 degree to 4 degrees Celsius, the volume of water decreases. Alright. And then at 4 degrees Celsius, the volume becomes minimum. After that, if you increase the temperature, then volume of water increases. This is also another important topic. Alright, so what is the meaning of this graph? That volume of water, it decreases from 0 degree to 4 degrees Celsius. At 4 degrees Celsius, volume is minimum, and after 4 degrees Celsius, it just behaves like the normal substance, means you are heating and the volume increasing. Then, if you plot the density of water versus temperature of water, I am not writing water here, I am writing temperature. It is understood, it is the temperature of water. Now, density of water and temperature of water, then you will see from 0 degree to 4 degrees Celsius, the density of water increases. Density of water increases from 0 to 4 degrees Celsius. At 4 degrees Celsius, density of water becomes maximum. Why density becomes maximum? Because volume is minimum. Everybody knows density is mass by volume. So you see, at 4 degrees Celsius, volume is minimum. So what will happen to the density? Density is maximum at 4 degrees Celsius. Then after that, what is happening? After 4 degrees Celsius, if you increase the temperature, volume increasing. So if volume increases, what will happen to the temperature? Temperature will decrease. And remember, the density of water at 4 degrees Celsius is given by 1 gram per centimeter cube. Alright, so these two graphs and the definition of anomalous expansion of water, everybody should learn, practice, remember, retain till the board exam. Thank you, girls.